Benjamin Bloom was born on February 21, 1913 and died on September 13, 1999. He was an American educational psychologist who made contributions to the classification of educational objectives and to the theory of mastery learning. He is particularly noted for leading educational psychologists to develop the comprehensive system of describing and assessing educational outcomes in the mid-1950s. Other contributions include Bloom's taxonomy, Bloom's 2 sigma problem, and his research on student achievement. Today we will talk about Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Bloom's taxonomy of learning. In 1956, Benjamin Bloom with collaborators Max Engelhardt, Edward First, Walter Hill, and David Krathwohl published a framework for categorizing educational goals, taxonomy of educational objectives. Familiarly known as Bloom's taxonomy, this framework has been applied by generations of K-12 teachers and college instructors in their teaching. The framework elaborated by Bloom and his collaborators consisted of 6 major categories: knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. The categories after knowledge were presented as skills and abilities, with the understanding that knowledge was the necessary precondition for putting these skills and abilities into practice. While each category contained subcategories, all lying along a continuum from simple to complex and concrete to abstract, the taxonomy is popularly remembered according to the 6 main categories. The original taxonomy 1956. Bloom's taxonomy was categorized into 6 categories. They are: the first one is knowledge. This stage or category involves the recall of specifics and universals, the recall of methods and processes, or the recall of a pattern, structure, or setting. The second one is comprehension. Comprehension refers to a type of understanding or apprehension, such that the individual knows what is being communicated, and can make use of the material or idea being communicated without necessarily relating it to other material or seeing its fullest implications. The third category is application. Application refers to the use of abstractions in particular and concrete situations. On number 4 coming analysis. It represents the breakdown of a communication into its constituent elements, or parts such that the relative hierarchy of ideas is made clear, and/or the relations between ideas expressed are made explicit. The fifth one is synthesis. Synthesis involves the putting together of elements and parts so as to form a whole. The sixth and last one is evaluation. Engenders judgments about the value of material and methods for given purposes. The Revised Taxonomy 2001. A group of cognitive psychologists, curriculum theorists and instructional researchers, and testing and assessment specialists published in 2001 a revision of Bloom's taxonomy with the title A Taxonomy for Teaching, Learning, and Assessment. This title draws attention away from the somewhat static notion of educational objectives in Bloom's original title and points to a more dynamic conception of classification. The authors of the Revised Taxonomy underscore this dynamism, using verbs and gerunds to label their categories and subcategories, rather than the nouns of the original taxonomy. These action words describe the cognitive processes by which thinkers encounter and work with knowledge. The first one is remember. Remember means here recognizing and recalling. The second one is understand. Understand means interpreting, exemplifying, classifying, summarizing, inferring, comparing and explaining. On the number 3 position is apply. Apply is here to executing and implementing. The fourth one is to analyze. It means differentiating, organizing and attributing. On the number 5 is to evaluate. Here evaluate is checking and critiquing. The sixth and last one is to create. Create here is generating, planning and producing. In the revised taxonomy, knowledge is at the basis of these 6 cognitive processes, but its authors created a separate taxonomy of the types of knowledge used in cognition. First is factual knowledge. This is the knowledge of terminology and the knowledge of specific details and elements. Second is conceptual knowledge. It is the knowledge of classifications and categories, the knowledge of principles and generalizations, and the knowledge of theories, models, and structures. Third is procedural knowledge. This is the knowledge of subject-specific skills and algorithms. The knowledge of subject-specific techniques and methods and knowledge of criteria for determining when to use appropriate procedures. Fourth is metacognitive knowledge. This is strategic knowledge, the knowledge about cognitive tasks, including appropriate contextual and conditional knowledge and self-knowledge. Why use Bloom's taxonomy? Now the question is why we use Bloom's taxonomy. Or why to use Bloom's taxonomy? The authors of the revised taxonomy suggest a multi-layered answer to this question, to which the author of this teaching guide has added some clarifying points. 1. Objectives or learning goals are important to establish in a pedagogical interchange so that teachers and students alike understand the purpose of that interchange. 2. Organizing objectives helps to clarify objectives for themselves and for students. 3. Having an organized set of objectives helps teachers to plan and deliver appropriate instruction, design valid assessment tasks and strategies, and ensure that instruction and assessment are aligned with the objectives.